Okay. Oh, started with
Ons kyk vandag hier by Baby Kayla se ouers. Ons dis natuurlik waarvoor die rugbywedstryd gaan die 19de Mei. Die sangers en die oproepers. Vertel vir ons 'n bietjie weer wat gaan aan met Kayla en hoe gaan dit nou?
Well, Kayla's now 4 months old. We just got her home. She got home a week ago. She was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis on the 14th of February, so she was in hospital for quite some time. So on this table over here is pretty much what she has on a daily basis. We still, learning and that sort of thing. It's quite complicated, but once you get into it, it gets a bit easier. Her main things that she has is her nebulizer. She gets that twice a day. After that, we do physiotherapy on her to help move the mucus in the lungs, which is where the vest comes in. That would replace it and does a much, much better job, so there's no chance of leaving mucus on the lungs. She also gets Peggy Coal to help her with her system. Then a whole lot of nutrients and vitamins and that sort of thing. Because of her condition, she can't absorb them, so she has to have that with her digestive enzymes. In the box is a stuff called infotrini. It's a specialized milk for her to help her pick up weight and to stay at that sort of weight and get better. What happened in hospital last? Kayla's had about 3 operations now. During her stay in hospital, she got pneumonia twice and she got whooping cough as well and bronchiolitis. So Kayla's developed a psychological problem with eating. So she won't take anything liquid in a bottle in her mouth, because every time she did that, she'd associate it with choking. She'd go blue in the face and stop breathing. It was quite serious. So what they did was there's a procedure the doctors did. I can just show you over here. This is called a PEG. And basically what it is a tube that goes straight into Kayla's stomach. So in that way we can make sure she eats, otherwise she'd have to be in hospital indefinitely, obviously. So we take a massive syringe, and it's called a gravity feed. Put the infotrini in the gravity feed and slowly feed it to her. We can also, it's nice in a way because we can also give her meds and that sort of thing that she doesn't like to have. And that's pretty much a typical day for her.
Tell me about the clapper vest. Is it going to eliminate any of the medicines, and how is it going to make your life easier?
It'll definitely eliminate some of the medicines, because the clapper vest it works on such high frequencies, and it also contracts as well. So it helps her cough up the mucus, and it also gets all the mucus off the lungs. Whereas when we do our physio on her, we may miss a slight area, or you know what I mean, it's human error. But with the machine, it makes sure that all of the mucus is gone, which is going to make sure that she doesn't get sick. It'll extend years in her life. It will inevitably replace, like I said, the physio, and then probably some of the
things to open up her chest.
Yeah, pretty much.
And does it mean she has to wear the clapper vest for life now?
How the clapper vest works is that she'll wear it for about 10 to 20 minutes a day, and that is equivalent to 4 hours of physio. It's got a lifetime guarantee and grows with her as well, so it comes with different size vests, which is really awesome.
Karl, let's get technical. What is cystic fibrosis?
Well, cystic fibrosis, in layman's terms, without the doctor's definition of it, it's a rare genetic disorder. The main areas it affects is the lungs and the pancreas. It does affect other areas, but those are sort of the main 2 places it kind of hits. What happens is the child seems to be missing a protein or something like that in their genetical strand, in their DNA. So what happens is they sort of sweat salt. Their skin, if you actually taste them, it tastes really salty. And because of the sweating of the salt, all the liquid and saliva in their body goes thick and gunky. And how it affects the pancreas, because of all the thick and gunkiness in the pancreas, their digestive enzymes don't work. So they don't digest food, they don't pick up weight or grow or absorb any nutrients. So they have to take a digestive enzyme to eat food and basically grow. The other area it affects is the lungs, and how it affects the lungs is, in the lungs you've got these fine hairs, and when you breathe in, a bacteria goes in the hair, and your body with the hairs shifts out the bacteria. With cystic fibrosis, the hair's all gunked up from the saliva, all this mucus, and so the bacteria sits in the lungs and continually causing infection and basically killing off the lung. How someone with cystic fibrosis dies is basically because of suffocation. The lungs get so infected, the lungs eventually give in and die out. what can happen is a baby with cystic fibrosis, they can have one or the other. Could be a pancreas or lung. With Kayla, it's both. And what I've also heard is there's 1,600 different mutations of cystic fibrosis. None are the same. You can have two babies with the identical mutation, and their life story can be completely different. Another question people also ask me and Kerry is like, oh wow, do you have cystic fibrosis in your family? What happens is you can be a carrier and never actually suffer from the mutation. Unfortunately, with Kerry and I, we both have something called the F508 strand. Kayla's got double of that strand, and for her it mutated, and she now suffers from the disease. How the clapper vest is going to help, what we're trying to raise funds for, is with the lungs, to sort of extend the life of the child, you want to beat the mucus off the lungs all the time to prevent the bacteria buildup and the infection control. What the vest does is it beats on the lungs continuously during the day. It adjusts with her size for life, and it keeps the mucus off the lung. And by keeping the mucus off the lung, her life will be longer because her lung will survive longer. And that's basically what cystic fibrosis is in the short and long.
Okay, Karl, from a medical point of view, we know how does it affect Kayla's life and so on. But other than medical, how does it affect your family life with regards to going out to family, friends, shopping, those type of things?
Like we said about the lung disease, and maintaining the lung is sort of the name of the game to ensure lung life, it's managing the infections. The more infection she has, you kind of imagine it, I guess, as like a cat with 10 lives, and every time she gets sick, one cross off. You kind of don't want her getting sick. So like when you arrived, we had to disinfect your hands to make sure you weren't bringing any bacteria into the house. I suppose you can imagine, for an adult, you get a bit of a scratchy throat or a cold. For Kayla, if she picks it up, it's pneumonia and it's hospital again, which makes it really difficult. Going out in public, being winter now, you kind of want to avoid going to shopping centres, going out in public, because the bacteria is so rough. And it's also contact bacteria, so flu and viruses, people coughing. It's a war zone out there for us at the moment. One of the things also is she has to get something called a synergist injection. It's basically like a flu jab for adults, but for someone with cystic fibrosis, it's a 17,600 Rand injection once a month. Medical aid, unfortunately, don't cover that because they don't see cystic fibrosis as a chronic illness. So you kind of want to maintain lung life. You want to maintain she doesn't get sick. Even as she gets older, going to school, she can't go to play school or nursery school because kids just pick up sickness from each other all the time in school. So she could probably only start going to school when it gets to, well, I understand it's class 1. I don't know what they're calling it nowadays. Back in my dad was class 1. And even the school we pick for her, they're going to have to understand the disease, because things like she has to have a high-fat diet and good fats. So things like being allowed to be let out earlier before break time, as it were, to go to the tuck shop and get the good high-fat foods, to understand when it's raining and cold outside, that she could maybe stay in the classroom with her close friends to ensure she doesn't go out in winter and get sick. So the school will be really important for her, that they allow those sort of things. I think also for us what makes it complicated for now is Kerry can't work at the moment, because looking after Kayla is a full-time job. Making sure she goes to all things. Obviously going from a 2-income household to 1-income household has its complications, as well as the fact, like I said, medical aid don't cover it. It's not a chronic illness. So the day-to-day is mainly infection control and making sure she doesn't get sick. Like with friends with babies, they know now if they've got the sign of sniffle, we don't connect with the guys. They know they don't come visit. They kind of you'll get out of jail free card with us at the moment. Come to a bra, oh, baby's sick, not going to happen. But it's great because our friends understand, which is awesome. So it makes it a bit easier, yeah.